What's up, nerds? It's Muka here. I'm a little sick, but I wanted to do a patch review video. If you don't know, I went on a little trip to Pakistan to visit some family, and we were fully immersed in smog. I'm gonna put a little video there. Yeah, you'll see it right there, a little video of how bad it was. So I'm a little under the weather, but a new patch is out, patch 0.60. We actually don't have a name for this patch, which is surprising. They've all been kind of titled something, but a new patch is out, new patch notes. I wanted to go over it really quickly, so let's just jump straight into it. All right, first card change up is Altar of Gaia. So originally, this card used to start with 3 counters, and you would have to remove 3 counters to heal any target for 2. And then anytime a unit took damage, you would increase the counters on the relic by 1. Now you need to only remove 2 counters to proc the heal of this relic, which is really good. It makes the card more viable in the early part of the game. You normally have to grind a lot to get a lot of counters on this thing, which is not too tough to do. But now only costing 2 is you can get a lot more heals out, and that's really good because it makes this grindy game like a lot better, and you'll see why later why this is important. But overall, good change. I think this helps the card a lot, and maybe we'll see some more play. Moving on, we have Change of Heart here. Change of Heart now can turn off pacifism if a unit has it. This is kind of tough to gauge if this is good or not. I mean, in competitive play, it kind of like takes some viability away from Gafar, because if you go into a Gafar mirror match, you can like unpacify your units that are getting pacified, everything's getting buffed. It's kind of chaotic, but I think outside of tournaments, this is where the action will be with this card. In a competitive tournament, you don't really want to risk running this and then you run into like another Gafar, and then you guys are both kind of like exchanging units like this with this in mind. So it kind of hurts the viability on a tournament setting, but on ladder, I think it's cool. It's fun. It's good. Overall, I'm okay with the change. I think it's good. The next one is absolutely massive. Honored Steward has gotten changed. It cannot banish Paragons anymore. I think this is huge, not for Shroud, not against Shroud, but for other parallels that were having trouble with this. Earthen being a big one. The next one being Naeus. Nehemiah specifically for Earthen. Now, why this is good is that those other cards can now play their Paragons on 4, not have to worry about the Shroud opponent banishing and getting a unit. It's a ton of value and a lot of momentum that, especially for those decks, they're very momentum driven, very unit, tempo driven. So to just lose your Paragon, you like lose a whole turn and the Shroud gets a unit is rough. So I think this is actually a very, very good nerf to Shroud. I like this Honor Steward change. I think it's fine because Aftermath is right around the corner and Shroud is getting more banishes in Aftermath. So that kind of lines up really well. I think this is a really good change, really healthy for the game, and I like it. I think this is a good change. The next one is LSC getting a huge change, going from a 3 cost to a 4 cost and 1 attack to 2 attack. Now, I want to say I am not a fan. I don't like this. I'm torn because I didn't feel super thrilled when LSC first came out, because of the fact that I felt like it was speeding the game up too fast. And I didn't like that per se. I liked the game being kind of like the tempo that it was before LSC came out, but it came out. And then I ended up starting liking the card because it enabled decks that were, maybe like a C tier to jump up the ranks to like an A tier or B tier deck, because it enabled them to hit a power spike. Parallel, I feel like, has 2 energy breakpoints that like really enable a big spike in your power, one being 5 and then the other one being like 8, maybe 7 depending on the deck. So I think was really nice because you can go 3 to 5, you skip that awkward 4, and then it enabled decks like Gafar, Arak, even Brand to an extent to like really play out of this like awkward moment and start moving on to their power spike a bit earlier to execute their game plan and win. Now, with it costing 4, I don't like this because Parallel doesn't have a lot of strong 6 cost units. So I'm going to show on the screen really quick all the good, like roughly a lot of good of the 5 cost units, and then I'll show you the 6 cost ones also. So you can see that the 5 costs are much stronger than the 6 costs. So it's a bit awkward. It makes LSC feel a bit awkward because it doesn't enable what it used to, like hitting that power spike early. Instead, you're not getting to a breakpoint earlier. So that's why I don't really like it too much. It's almost like the card is now just there to race to that second breakpoint of like 7 or 8. And I don't think that's that good. Stats are an okay thing, but I think this kind of kills the card a lot in a lot of decks. So that's good and bad. It's good because a lot of decks that were maybe abusing this card will kind of get hit hard with this and slow down. and the game gets a little bit more grindier. Your energy matters more. This LSC hit kind of hurts. Like, it hurts drone printer, I feel like drone printer decks, because now you can't play drone printer really early. You want to play that in like the late game, so you're not going to probably see as many drone printers. It hurts some of those paragons that I talked before that need that kind of like breakpoint to 5. But some of the decks will be fine. Like, decks that are grindy will still be fine with this nerf. Decks that are not grindy will suffer. So that's the thing. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this change. I think it hurts the card too much, but and it doesn't fit like the way Parallel's power curve works out in my opinion, but it's a nerf. It's a nerf to a lot of these tempo kind of decks that are trying to amass energy and race, and 4 is a lot worse than 3, so we'll see. I mean, I think the card will still see play, but not nearly as much. It won't be as universal as it was before. Moving on, Revitalizing Growth. This is a effect card that heals any target for 5. Now it only heals for 4, and it costs 0. I think this is okay. This is fine. I don't think anyone's going to see anything super broken, but this will enable some fun combos, which is good. Some Triumph of Earth combos, any other combos that, deal with healing and burn damage or even survivability. The card's good. Maybe it sees more play. If you guys haven't caught the trend, a lot of the healing stuff is getting cheaper. Altar of Gaia, Revitalizing Growth. I think they're trying to buff this kind of like Flourish, make Flourish seem a little more attractive in Earthen, give it some more legs to stand on. So we'll see if that kind of works out with Aftermath coming out and stuff like that. The last one, I actually like this one. Spoils of War is a 3-cost relic and now went to a 1-cost relic. Basically, when a friendly unit changes attuned state, so that's if they are an attuned unit like Moonlit Star of Alicia that has the dormant and the awakened state, that's one way. Or you trigger a Flourish, you can draw a random unit. What do I think? I think this card will be good at a certain point. This is giving me vibes that if like Earthen can find a way to like almost play like a big unit Earthen, and they play less units, but they play something like this to like maybe search out the units that they want and they play them out. This could be, I think I see something like that. I don't know. Like, I need to see more action, needs more testing, but I like this. I think this is good. In my opinion, relics in Parallel, generally, if they are not like a board, if they're not about board state or anything, like they're only really attractive when they're cheaper. So this is pretty good. 3 cost was like too much, I think. So we'll see how it is at 1. Maybe it gets put to 2, but this is good. I think this is good. How do I feel about the card changes? I don't like the LSC change, but I understand it. People might be screaming why there's no Kathy nerfs. I think this is the Kathy nerf. This makes burn Kathy, even though it's like super spiky still and can do all of the crazy wombo combos, it is a lot less consistent without LSC at 3. And I don't think you play it at 4. Maybe you do, just to try to get to 7 or 8, but it hurts a lot more playing it at 4 versus at 3 in a 1-cost unit. 4 in a 1-cost unit is not nearly as strong. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But I think this is kind of like the nerf to Kathy, and I think this is why this card was put in. So let's see how it goes, but I just don't like how it hurts other decks. Like, Gafar feels kind of dead. Arak is still good because Arak is very grindy in nature, so it'll be fine. I think this hurts Neve a lot. This hurts Brand a lot. Hurts Shroud a lot in general. We'll have to see what happens. I think won out in this patch. I think Naeus and Earthen won out in this patch because Earthen got like some mild buffs and Naeus didn't get hit at all. And the other stuff around it got hit. So they're good. They're just going to be very strong. Let's move on to the other stuff in the patch real quick. Let's go through any relevant bugs. The first one being Ingrid. Ingrid used to have issues where you couldn't create and play a copy of the last unit you played. You can now do that. That's a big fix. I like that a lot that they fixed that. Makes it a bit better. The other one, Malia giving Aftermath abilities, has been fixed. So now when it destroys and banishes no Aftermath abilities, that's a good fix. Nora, Hand of Unity. So if you don't know, there was an OTK with Nora and Earthbreaker Cannon, and it wasn't working because after Nora gave all units the trait of being vehicles, they wouldn't apply it until after the card was played. So like it wouldn't work with Earthbreaker Cannon. That like when the vehicles played, it would trigger the ping, the six damage ping. So they fixed that. So now that OTK is back and it works now. So that's good. I don't think it's like meta breaking or anything. I think it's a fun combo. It requires 2 legendaries. It's going to be tough, but overall I think it's good. I like it. Some other big stuff to talk about. Aftermath is almost here. It's literally going to be in like a week or 2, I think 2 weeks, and over 90 new cards are in. So it's already talked about 15 variants, native language cards. So a little bit about that. So Aftermath will be playable on the 25th. 23rd is the opportunity to buy the packs and stuff like that. So that's really huge. We had to wait a long time for Planetfall between we bought the cards and got to play them. So big step up, big improvement that we can actually play with them a few days later. The other big one is huge, the prime earning potential. So basically now, for those of you that are playing with NFT cards in your deck to earn the prime kickback, the prime token kickback for playing with those, now there is a rarity system on the card level. So if you have a rare card, you earn more prime with that. And Echelon Foundation has actually made more tokens available for this program. So this is really cool to see. If you have an autograph card, which are like the signed cards, you can see an example there. The autograph cards get more prime, than prime variant is under that, the native language, perfect loop, and special edition. They earn all more than the FE. So that's really cool to see. I like this a lot because it gives more emphasis on the rarity of your cards. Now, if you have rarity, not just the flex, you earn more prime on it. I think that's good for the ecosystem. It makes sense. It makes some of these variants more valuable. So overall, I'm a big fan. I like it. Another one is that rookie mode is only AI opponents. I think that's fine. People were getting stomped too much in rookie mode, so just making that journey a bit better is good. So UI UX changes, you'll see the UI UX. I'm just gonna post it, and it's a bit, rather large. There's a navigation bar now on the left. I think it's a good navigation system. My issue with it is that it feels like it's way too scaled up for like mobile. If you guys didn't see, mobile has started some closed testing. I'll link the tweet below, and then you can see the tweet there. And yeah, I think like it's a bit too blocky and large, but overall it's good that they made the navigation a bit easier. And you can tell they're still working on UI UX stuff, so that's good. There's still effort being put there and making it work and things like that. So how do I feel about the patch? I'm not the biggest fan of the LSC change, but I do think it shakes up the meta quite a bit. A lot of cards that were strong on this ramp are not going to be strong now. So we're going to have to see how do players and decks adapt, what's good, what's not good. And we have $100,000 tournaments, next week. So, we'll have real solid testing on what's good and what's not good at least. And I'm excited to see what happens. I'm going to be going to Manila. So if you see me there, make sure to say hello. This is Muka, and I will see you nerds later.